quick break. I just want to say thank you for all the people around the world, Jamaica, Germany, Asia, Europe, South America. Thank you for listening to Leap of Health. Thank you for the support. And remember, my book is out. You can find it on Barnes & Nobles and Amazon. It's called Parents Are Greatest Teachers. Thank you again for all the support. And now, back to our episode.
Hello, everyone. This is your host, Alex Valgood, and this is Leap of Health. And today, I'm super excited to have Ellen Hart. She's the creator of Feel Empowered Every Day. She's also a self-intelligence consultant, a writer, and we're going to be talking about essential oils today. I mean, everybody hears all these about oils and how they're good and all that. So we're going to be talking about all that in just a second. Before that, tell us a little bit about yourself and how you became who you are now.
Yeah, so actually the two of them, the self-intelligence consultant and the essential oils, all come together under the umbrella of empowerment for me. So all of them play a role in my journey in finding empowerment for myself. So I was a stay-at-home mom for 25 years, and I ended up the same year we were empty nesting. I got divorced and started life completely all over. I picked up, I moved from where it was nice and comfortable and where I knew everybody to a state where I didn't know a single person. And I just decided I needed to start all over again. And part of what gave me the courage to realize that I needed to take this new leap of faith in my life was the personal development that I was learning through my essential oil use. So it all kind of just came together.
That's awesome. So do you learn also the emotional intelligence part of it first? You did the oil, so that came after?
After. Yep, that came a few years afterwards. I lived in London for 3 years when my kids were younger. And I had always suffered with, I had back issues, which we can get into that story with the oils in a moment, but also sinus pressure and sinus issues. And so I went into a small pharmacy there, and I asked, what's the best thing that you have to open up sinuses? And they gave me a bottle of liquid, and they said, put it like on your shirt or pillowcase, and that will help open things up for you. So we went on to use that in my family for a number of years, and I had no idea what it was. We just called it the smelly stuff. And so anytime anybody would start to get congested or sneezing or whatever it might be, we pulled out the smelly stuff, and that's what we used. And then Pinterest came along, and I was going through Pinterest and I was putting it together, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh my gosh, these are actually essential oils that I'm using. And I didn't have any idea what essential oils even were. I didn't even know they were something. And I had been using them for about 5 or 7 years.
Wow, that's great. You were like, this is actually a thing.
Right. I'm like, oh, it's not just some bottle of potion that they gave me in Europe. Okay.
No, that's great. So let's get into that a little bit. What are essential oils?
Yeah, so they are derived from plants, trees, grasses, fruits, and they are just people call them, they refer to them as like the lifeblood. I don't know, there's kind of controversial thoughts in terms of referring to them as that, but they are natural chemical properties that work within your body systems. And what they do that people don't quite understand is they simply send messages to your body's natural systems of what your body already knows to do. They don't necessarily come in and quote unquote heal or fix or, whatever. They're simply messengers to wake up your immune system, slow down the inflammation, whatever it might be, to get your body working the way that it's supposed to work to keep you at your optimal.
Awesome. And you mentioned you use it for back pain.
Yeah. So so like I said, I struggled with sinus issues, and the over-the-counter medicine I was taking for that, I later learned was just causing me rebound headaches. So I was doing the over-the-counter for the sinus, but then I did another over-the-counter for the headaches, and I didn't realize that one was actually causing causing more issues with headaches then. And when I was in high school, I was actually funny story. I was a cheerleader, and we were at an away basketball game in an upper gym, simply warming up. That's it. No crazy stunts. I wasn't flying in the air, anything like that. I literally just lifted my arms up over my head, and my back just spasmed, and I could not move. They called an ambulance. They had to take me away. I was like so embarrassed as a 17-year-old lady going through the whole basketball game on a stretcher. I felt like an old lady. All I did was lift my arms up in the air. It was ridiculous. But I ended up, bedridden for a few days, and of course, muscle relaxers and the whole thing. And ever since then, I had so many issues with my low back, and MRIs showed that I had 3 herniated discs. I had bulging discs. I had all kinds of stuff going on back there. So I remember going to my family doctor at one point, and I was talking to her about my back. And of course, she didn't touch my body, at all. She just looked at me and said, "This is something you're going to have to deal with for the rest of your life. Here's a prescription for Vicodin, and here's a prescription for
No,
Flexerol, a muscle relaxer." Having no idea that my family history is riddled with addiction.
that's
And
terrible.
I had 3 small kids. So I could not go through my day on those medicines. And I knew my personality. I was terrified of getting dependent on those.
Mm-hmm.
I was already popping 800 Advils like they were candy. And so I thought, okay, if I'm doing that to try to keep this tame, and I get this other stuff that's going to make me feel so much better, I don't want to go down what that rabbit hole could look like for myself. So I refused, and I just tried various chiropractors and different things. And so with this essential oil, beginning with the smelly stuff and not knowing what it was, and then Pinterest showed me, oh, actually essential oils. Oh, well, okay, let's dive in and see what else we can use them for. I was going on a trip to Costa Rica, and I was terrified of all the critters coming in my room. And I learned that peppermint oil would keep away, all the bugs and stuff. So I bought myself some peppermint oil and along the windowsills and everything. And that's kind of how I started getting into it. And then I realized, oh, wow, this works for headaches. This works for pain. This does all these other things too. So I just really learned a lot about what each of them could do. And I was completely hooked, because I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing to feel like I could have the answers.
Mm-hmm.
I could do something for myself to help make myself not feel like a victim to my body or circumstances. I could go there and enjoy my vacation knowing that I had this little barrier to what might come my way. And then the same thing with my personal experiences that I was going through.
Yeah, for sure. What are some of the most common essential oils that people uses out there?
Like which particular oil, like peppermint, lavender, like that type of
Mm-hmm.
thing. Yeah, probably lavender is probably the most well known, because
Mm-hmm.
people use it for calming and for sleep. Um, I've had people use it for um, panic attacks.
Mm-hmm.
Just a couple drops on the wrist, and just calms the body down. And so, yeah, peppermint and lavender are probably the most common. If you dig in a little bit more, you'll get into like some eucalyptus that people like to do to, again, maybe in the shower to kind of have that nice steam shower of opening up their airways in the morning. Lemon is one that maybe people would use. Frankincense might be one that, is as well known. That is one that we kind of call the Swiss Army knife of the essential oils because it works for pretty much everything and anything. It's very powerful.
What do they use that one for mostly? I've heard of it, but I'm not too sure on that one.
Yeah, it's great for calming
Mm,
and also amazing for your skin. And then also it helps reduce inflammation as well.
okay.
So there's, like I said, there's a million different ways you could use it, but those are kind of just some of the top three.
Nice. When you had back pain, I know for like, if they're anxious or they want to try to sleep, they use lavender, right? And they put it on the wrist and then kind of like smell it, and that helps the body to relax or sleep.
Mhm.
How about when in your case, right? Or anyone that has like some sort of pain, back, arm, shoulder, whatever, do you put the oil directly on the skin? How do you go about those situations?
Yeah, so topically is the best for something like that. Now, it depends on which oil you're using. Some of them are known as hot oils, so you definitely want to dilute them. Also, you can, if you use it straight out of the bottle or neat, a lot of you're going to get a flash off of a lot of the chemical constituents. It's going to, they're going to kind of poof up into the air and you'll get the smell. You put it on your body, it's going to go in your bloodstream and it will take off and just circulate your entire body. And it's going to move quickly when it's taken straight out of the bottle. If you dilute it and you put it on your body, it makes it heavier. And so it's going to stay in that area a bit longer. So like if I'm doing something with a back pain or a muscle issue, you're going to want to dilute it either with like an unscented lotion or a fractionated coconut oil, something of that sort that will then slow it down so it penetrates and stays into that area a little bit longer. And another fun fact with peppermint is it actually kind of helps. It's like a bulldozer. It helps clear the way and drive in deeper any essential oil that you put on behind it. So you can layer oils as well. So you might put a little peppermint on first, and then you might put like a little wintergreen or like some of the blends. I use a blend called Deep Blue. You put that on and the peppermint helps drive it deeper into the muscle. And then if you're really in pain, you could add some moist heat and lay a little like one of those packs you can put in the microwave.
Mm-hmm.
Put that and then put that over the top of it. And that's just really going to get into that muscle. It's going to get into the bloodstream there. You can use lemongrass to help with any ligament or tendon issues you might be having along with the muscle pain, whatever is kind of driving it. Again, frankincense is amazing to use for that too, because it helps lower the inflammation that's going on in your body.
That's great. What about some of those hot oils that you mentioned? Which ones are those?
So oregano for sure. And oregano is amazing to help your body's immune system fight things. And so I'm trying to be compliant here with the way that I say things as well. So if it kind of sounds a little funny, it's because I'm trying to, be mindful of how we present this.
Yeah.
And then so oregano is great, but it's a hot oil for sure. You do not want to put it on your skin straight up. Thyme, same thing. Very good when you're starting to feel under the weather, but diluted. Cinnamon is good for like any circular issues you might be having, things of that sort. And again, that's a hot oil, so you're going to want to dilute that one too. And some people are sensitive, some people, peppermint might be a little hot on them. So it's always good to just do a small little test spot And if you were to ever put an oil on your skin and you do all of a sudden feel like a pinching or a heat or uncomfortable with it, do not try to wash it off with water. That will just intensify it.
Okay.
Grab some type of oil, even if it's just olive oil from your kitchen cabinet, whatever it is, some type of oil like that, apply that over the top of it, and that will help calm it down then.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. The first thing, okay, just go wash it up. So don't wash it. No, no, no. Okay,
No,
that's a great tip. And then I know you mentioned oregano oil, thyme, cinnamon, and things like that. I know for myself, I do take some of those topical. What are
mhm.
some because can you take all of them topical, or there's just some specific oils that are good to ingest and some of them are like don't ingest?
Honestly, it depends on what brand you're purchasing. And it really does, just because of the fact that it's an industry that is not regulated. You can put whatever you want into the bottle and call it pure, and there's nobody out that's going to test that to make sure that what you're saying is accurate. So you really want to be mindful of, if you're buying them from the store, just off the shelf somewhere or whatever, always dilute, maybe only use in the diffusers. Definitely don't ever take internally. But the oils that I use, I feel comfortable putting every single one of them on my skin. I have not had any adverse effects whatsoever. And then on the bottle, if it is safe to ingest, there will be a supplement facts box on the bottle to let you know that this indeed is okay to take internally.
Mm-hmm.
Again, very small amounts. These are highly, highly potent, especially when they are pure and they are sourced correctly and they are tested in a way that it is truly only the essential oil in it. So they're very potent. So a little goes a long way. Less is more. So that's nice to know too, because some of them you might look at and say, oh my gosh, I'm going to pay $25 or $50 or whatever for a tiny little bottle like this.
$40.
Yeah. But in each of those bottles, I believe it's 15 milliliter size, the typical, main
Mm-hmm.
size, not the small 5 mLs, but the typical ones will have about 250 drops in each bottle. Each time you use it, you're using 2 drops.
One or two,
That,
right?
yeah, 1 or 2 drops. So that goes a really long way when you do the math. It's pennies per usage. So, that's a way to think of it as well. And you're maybe not spending the money that you would spend if you have to take a day off from work because something is wrong, or you have to go and see a doctor because you're having something go on, that you're getting a pill, or you're going to the Walgreens
Mm-hmm.
or wherever, and you're buying the over-the-counter medicine and stuff anyway. You can replace so much of what you do and use in your life with them, in terms of that stuff that I was just referring to, but then also your cleaning products
Mm-hmm.
and your personal care products, all of that stuff. And then you're getting the benefits. So there's side benefits instead of side effects. So they don't come with these laundry lists of side effects.
Yeah.
So many different ways you can use them.
Yeah, for sure. And I like that you mentioned that you don't have to use a lot, because a lot of people I feel too that they might be like, well, I really don't want to buy this small bottle for like $40, especially if you're buying a really organic, good quality source of oils. It's gonna be about that price because you are not using a bunch of it every time. It's like 1 or 2 drops, if so, right? And also
Right.
just to think about, like, to get even that those little bottles, let's per se talk about lavender. They have to use pounds and pounds of lavender to get that little bottle. So you have to think about it that way, in order for
Yes.
for these companies to process this product, they have to use so much to get these little bottles. So that's why sometimes, especially if they're organic and well sourced and everything, they're gonna be a little bit on the pricey side, but they're gonna last you for a long, long time. And it's a good product that is, as you mentioned, it's not gonna have side effects or anything like that. So it's gonna be a good product to just have at home for a lot of things. And
Absolutely.
yeah, and as you mentioned, we're talking about pain, headaches, some of those symptoms that can be helped with essential oils. And you also mentioned to do some cleaning. What are some of those that we can replace perhaps some of our crazy chemical, you know, products that we use to clean, the counter, the kitchen, the floors, and all that, that really are affecting us more than helping us on the long run? What are some of your favorites?
Yeah, so to go about it very simply and very economically, you can use water with vinegar and just a few drops of lemon essential oil.
Mhm.
And that will clean so many things for you, and you'll get a beautiful clean out of it. Also, again, healthy, no issues with, what it is you've got going on. If you've got pets, kids, whatever, you can do your floors with it and you don't have to worry about what they're stepping in, what you're stepping in while you're cleaning yourself, what it might end up doing to your body in the long run. It's a fresh, nice smell, and then, like I said, you get all the side benefits of inhaling the aroma of the lemon oil. You could use wild orange, any of the citrus oils that you like. You could use a combination of them. The company that I purchase my oils from has a couple cleaning lines, two different blends that they use. And so you can purchase something like that, and they come already like in a cleaner concentrate.
Mm.
So you can, just use that with a little bit of water. And, it can be very simple process to
Mhm.
replace your cleaning products with essential oils, that it does not have to be complicated or expensive. You'll end up saving money in the long run for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think about, we get these bottles to wash dishes, to wash the floors, to clean, the restrooms and all that. Uh, They're quite expensive.
Yeah.
They're quite expensive, and they have a big line of ingredients that a lot of them are hormonal disruptors, which it's pretty bad. And if you haven't heard, you can go back on my hormone episode. But pretty much, it's pretty bad. Like your hormones want to be in balance so you can be healthy and all that. But imagine you're putting all these chemicals um, on your floors, on your dishes, pretty much everywhere, and you're smelling all of these chemicals. Might as well smell something that's gonna also help you, right? And if we talk about prices a little bit, just to give you an idea of how much you're saving, the big gallons of what's it called, vinegar, they're about $3.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they're the big ones. I'm not talking about the little bottles like you use for cooking. I'm talking about the heavy duty ones, the really big ones that sell at Costco. They're like $3 or $4. And then if you get your essential oils for, if it's a good one, for another like 20, you literally spend $24, and it's gonna last you for a few months,
Yes.
if not more. I mean, the vinegar might run out, but you still have the oil, and you could just spend another $4 on more months, and it's super great.
Well, and like where I get my oils, I have a wholesale membership, so I get 25% off all of them. So lemon oil costs $13
There you go.
for for a bottle of it. And then I get points for purchasing that oil that then I can use for any other product that I want for free then. So like every few months, I'm going to get one for free then as well. And you don't get that in the grocery stores either in terms of that type of savings. And you can use it for so many other things. I put it in my water every day, and I drink. We always hear of putting a slice of lemon in your water. This is just, so much more benefits if you just use the oil, and you also don't have, it's not sprayed with anything, and, getting the fruit, and trying to squeeze from it and all of that kind of stuff. You never know if it's truly organic or not. This way, and again, you can't do that with all lemon that you would purchase, but the ones that I buy, I can put in my water, and they energize you, they detox, just so many wonderful benefits to it.
I love that. I think it's great. It's a great idea. It's good for everyone, good for the environment, good for you, good for your pocket. So why not? And
Right.
you also mentioned there's some of them that you use for cosmetics and personal hygiene. What are some of those that are good for that?
Oh boy, where do I begin? um, Again, frankincense. I've been putting that on my face for years. Um, for a while, I literally just buy the coconut oil that you would cook with, put a little dab of that with a drop of frankincense, and use that as a moisturizer.
Mm.
That's amazing. Geranium, rose is very expensive, but as you mentioned before, like with the lavender, how much it takes, it's like 250,000 rose petals to get a tiny bottle of rose. But
Yes.
the company that I purchased from has it in a roller bottle that's already diluted with the coconut oil, so it stretches the life of it longer. It's still very potent, you still get the effects of it, so, and that's much more economical to buy it that way. So that's a really good one for the skin. And I use them in the shower. I put rosemary in my shampoo. It helps my hair growth. It helps keep my hair healthy.
I didn't know the rosemary. Okay.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Yep. And I put peppermint also on my scalp, especially in the morning. It just, it alivens the senses. It wakes you up. Again, very good for the scalp. Then I also feel like it gets down in there and helps just sort of put that headache barrier on there, that kind of like, hey, we're ready for you if you're going to try to start to get a headache.
Yeah.
Frankincense actually crosses the blood-brain barrier, so it's good to put that on the base of your skull too if you have any type of issues going on cognitively that way. But I actually just recently went through and listed like all the different systems that we have in our bodies, the circulatory system, the muscular skeletal system, all of them, and researched which oils supported each one of those. And then I made my own roller bottles with a variety of different oils. So you can make up your own blends and everything too. So if you're creative and you kind of have a little bit of that DIY in you, or that little like science experiment, you can put together your own blends and try them out and see what kind of benefits that you're getting. And when you do those in the roller bottles, you really only put like, I think I put 6 drops of each one of the oils I was going to put in there. And then you fill the rest of it with the coconut oil, like I said, to dilute it, help it stay in the spot that you're working on. And so I just made up a bunch of those roller bottles. So now each morning I'm like, okay, put this one here for this system, this one here for this system. And I've got my whole body covered head to toe, ready to go.
Yes. Do share. What do you do for like the muscular system?
So let me see if I can pull up where I put my list of all of them that I
Yes.
made. I
That'll
was
be
not.
great for the listeners. So that way they're like, okay, they get a few of those ideas. I think
Yeah, let's see here.
essential oils are just great for a bunch of things.
Yes. So for the circulatory and cardiovascular system, again, these are just, just support for your body.
Yes.
I used cinnamon, helichrysum, basil, turmeric, And then each one of them, I picked 2 blends. One blend is called DDR Prime and the other blend is called Aroma Touch. So all of those will help support the flow, of your body, help support, your heart and your lungs or your heart and your lymph systems. And then digestive, I used bergamot, black pepper, clove, grapefruit, a blend called DigestZen, and a blend called Zendocrine. And I just put that right over my gut and try to help, with any gut issues that might be going on. When you eat something and you, feel that indigestion, a little peppermint or like I said, this blend of DigestZen, if you just roll it on your stomach. Also, the company that I purchased from puts a lot of the oils in soft gels already, just so if you're used to popping a pill, you can still pop a pill. You don't have to think about what roller, where do I put it, how
Oh,
much.
wow. Okay.
Yep.
That's great.
You can there's one for the digestive system. There's one for seasonal support. If you tend to get, very itchy, watery, that type of thing, works phenomenal. I used to be, an OTC junkie with all of that kind of stuff too. Now I have not taken a medication in years. So I use that whenever, the flowers are blooming and things are happening that my body is like not reacting very well to. And then there's one also for like a protective. So when I start to feel like I'm getting a little bit of that scratchy throat or something might be starting to set
Support.
into me, I take one of those. And so again, like if you're used to having those bottles of medicine, you can still have the bottles, you can still swallow the pills. They're made up for you. So you don't have to worry about if you're doing it right.
Right.
And then my endocrine system one, I use cypress, lemongrass, lavender, pink pepper, a blend called Whisper, and a blend called Immortelle. And I put that over my adrenals and over my gallbladder, over my thyroid. Yep, that's where I use that one. I just started with this a couple of days ago, and so I'm still trying to remember exactly where I'm putting each one on my body. And then for the skin, I use rose, blue tansy, tea tree, yarrow palm, and then a blend called Console and a blend called HD Clear. Obviously, that one just gets rolled all over, especially in the little wrinkle zones. Put that there.
That's great.
And the oil, that you're using it with to dilute it doesn't make your skin oily. It soaks in very nicely. It hydrates it nicely. And so you don't have to worry about, oh my gosh, I can't put oil on my face. It's going to make it oily. That's not the way it works. And then I also use, a little moisturizer that the company makes as well, to follow up with that. And then for the immune system, I use arborvitae, geranium, melissa, petitgrain, and then a blend called On Guard and a blend called Cheer. Those go over the glands and on the bottom of your feet. If you're ever wanting to use an essential oil and you don't know exactly where to put it, and you're like, oh, I'm not really sure if I should do this, I don't know if I'm gonna do it right, slap it on the bottom of your feet. Just a couple drops, rub it on the bottom of your feet, you're good to go. If you've been suggested to use something and you're like, I can't tolerate the smell, it's not something that I enjoy. First of all, there's usually a very good complement of a different oil you could use that will have very similar benefits to it. So it doesn't have to be a one choice only. But if it happens to be the one you have, or you really, feel like you're going to get the most benefits from, put it in a roller bottle, roll it on the bottom of your feet, put your socks and shoes on, and you won't even smell it. But your body is still going to get all the benefits and the protection from it.
Why is that? Why on the bottom of the feet?
The bottom of the feet.
That's funny.
It's like reflexology. So you can look up and you can see that your hands, your ears, the bottom of your feet, all of your systems, everything in your body is somehow connected to a spot. Like one of my friend's sons, or my son's friends, he was on a ski vacation and he was having what he thought was an appendicitis. He was in the hospital, And a doctor came in the room and he touched the certain pressure point on the bottom of his foot. And he was like, he's like, yep, you're having an appendicitis, because he knew exactly where,
Right. Mm-hmm.
you know, the connection was from the bottom
Mm-hmm.
of the feet. So when you put it on the bottom of your feet, it's going to, you know, anywhere you put it on your body, it's going to go through
Everywhere.
your whole bloodstream. But that way it's just kind of, you don't, it's the furthest from your nose, so you don't have to
Right,
smell
right.
it.
Oh, that's great. That's
Another,
a great tip.
another thing I did that was super interesting to me, like I said, I eased into these. I wasn't really sure about how you could use them and the benefits. And then I started getting to like the physical stuff. I wasn't really quite sold on the emotional aspect of it. I didn't really understand. Like, I know that when you smell something pretty, it's probably going to make you feel a little bit happier, but I thought that was kind of the extent to it. I didn't really realize and understand how it worked with your limbic system and physiologically made a difference in your body that then affected your emotions.
Mm-hmm.
And so while I was beginning to use these, I connected with friends of mine who are a chiropractor and natural healer. And they had a woman in their office who does a live blood cell testing. So she takes a poke, puts a drop of blood on a slide, and looks at it on a super powered microscope. And you can see all the red blood cells and how they interact and how they're working and the shapes and everything to them.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had this done. And, you know, there were a few things that came back to kind of be mindful of and stuff like that. Well, then they thought, let's test these and see how it looks with the essential oils. So I went in as part of this experiment, and I happened to be going through a divorce at the time. So they took the poke of my blood, and mind you, I had this done a year ago, so I kind of had an idea of what my overall health was. Well, when they put this drop of blood on the slide, my red blood cells were so jammed together, just smashed all up and in these tight coils, and they were barely moving around, which indicates mega stress, high cortisol, not good at
Right,
all.
great. Mm-hmm.
And barely any presence of the white blood cells in there at all. So then that helped them determine, okay, what oil should we use to try to see what an effect could be on this. So they put a couple drops of bergamot on my wrist, and I sat in the room for 30 minutes because that's how long it takes for them
To go
to
around.
reach every cell in your
Oh,
body.
wow. Mm-hmm.
And the fun fact with essential oils is because they're natural, they actually penetrate the cell wall and they can get inside the cell. And that's where those messages are being taken then, right inside the cell. Whereas most things that are made in a laboratory, since they're synthetic, they work around the cells, not inside them for the most part. So that's where you get a huge effect and difference from using real essential oils. And a lot of the medicines that are out there are laboratories trying to mimic essential oils.
Mm-hmm.
But they're natural, so they can't, you can't mimic them. But anyway, so back to the story, I got sidetracked there. But so they put the bergamot on. We waited the 30 minutes. I didn't eat, I didn't drink, I didn't do a single thing different. I literally just sat there. We retested my blood. Every single one of my red blood cells was just on its own, flowing freely, moving about, completely changed. And then the fun part of it was actually a white blood cell came floating by, and those look a lot different. So they kind of have a lot more like white and dimension to them. It was literally shaped in a smile face. And we're like, oh my gosh, this is like crazy. This is for me. I'm like, this is such a sign. Everything's going to be okay. But that's when I really was like, oh my gosh, this made a physiological difference on the stress in my body and what I would normally be carrying with me. And now I could just apply a couple drops of essential oils and keep myself protected so much more. I might still have all the stress and have to deal with all of it. It doesn't make our life issues go away, but the way our bodies are handling it, because our bodies don't know if it's a real or a perceived threat. It
Mm-hmm.
reacts the same way.
Yeah,
So that was a pretty amazing thing.
that's amazing. Which oil was that?
It was bergamot.
Bergamot. Oh, okay.
Yep.
Nice.
Hmm.
I must have to try that one.
Yeah, it was really cool. And they had very similar effects to theirs too. One had just been on a vacation, and so she had been kind of eating and drinking a lot, and knowing that her body wasn't digesting very well and processing, and probably had some detox to go through. And she used I think it was lemon or cinnamon. I can't remember which one did what,
Mhm.
but again, just noticed right there in front of you the difference in your blood.
Yeah, they're definitely like really, really good. But I like to remind everybody that is listening, always get a good quality organic oil because as you heard us, it goes through your bloodstream. And so you always want to, you want a good quality product to go inside you and not just all these other chemicals or added to it. Because in order to for people to buy more essential oils, some companies put a lot of other stuff
Yes,
so that way they can sell it cheaper, but almost it fits the purpose. So I think when it comes to specifically this special oil, essential oils, I think it's just so worth it to buy a good quality product because it's gonna be good for you. It's gonna go in your skin. It's gonna go in your bloodstream, and it's gonna last you for a long time. And you don't have to be worried about like what other stuff will you be putting inside.
absolutely. That's a great point. And even if you're just diffusing,
Mm-hmm.
um, again, it will last longer because you won't feel like you have to put so much in the diffuser in order to notice the scent.
Mm-hmm.
So, a lot of people notice that. And then again, with the company that I purchased mine through, they are very, very mindful of making sure that they pay the growers, the harvesters, the distillers, everybody, and all of them are sourced all around the world. A lot of them in third world countries that are, struggling with poverty, and they don't use any middlemen, because that's another thing that's big with the essential oil industry is
Mm-hmm.
you have like brokers, and they don't use any brokers. They pay the people directly a fair wage year round, whether it's harvest season or not. They're getting a fair salary to support their families and build their businesses. So they, on the back end of it, like everything else, the chocolate industry, whatever it is, we often don't stop and think about where all of this is coming from
Where
and
is it coming from? Mm-hmm.
who's being worked, sometimes literally to death to get it for us. And this company is very, very mindful of how they take care of all of everybody that goes into providing the essential oils.
Yeah, and that's great. And I think it just goes like in general to everything. It's always to be mindful to where you get any product, whether it's your veggies, meat, anything that you use at home. I think having that connection to where your food is coming from, where your products are coming from, it's usually the best. And if you just look a little harder, you could find those very good companies that are trying to make a difference in the world, not for only for your pocket, but for everyone pretty much. So it's always nice to find those. And I mean, for essential oils are a ton of companies. For all the listeners, you can research and see which one is best for you. But just remember, this is something that you're gonna put on your skin. This is something that you're gonna smell. So bottom line, it's gonna go inside your body. So might as well try to get a good product.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And what are some of the other applications that we could do with essential oils? I know we talk about cleaning for you know uh, personal like creams and all that, moisturizing. What are some of the other things that you like to use essential oils for?
Yeah, like I said, any type of upset stomach at all helps quickly. Opening up the airways is one of the ways that you'll notice such a fast return on investment. You know, you'll that's something you notice right away. You put a little bit under your nose. Sometimes you can put them on your temples. If you're really congested, you can also do like a sinus steamer. So you can take a mug, heat it all up with water, put a couple drops of a variety of whatever essential oils you want into it, and then just lean in, close your eyes because they're very potent to the eyes. And just breathe that in, and that will help loosen everything up for you as well. Stress, like I said, you know, that situation with the bergamot, there's a variety of them that you can use. There's, you know, usually like this company I buy with has a whole emotional aromatherapy kit. So they're already blends put together for forgiveness, console, cheer, motivate, you know, peace. You can use them for things like that to stay focused. They're really good for that as well. I have a couple rollers right on my desk. So when I start to feel like I'm getting a little squirrely or distracted, you can just either diffuse or put a little under your nose, some on your wrists, and it helps, you know, during homework time.
Which
I use
oil will be that?
Vetiver is good for that if you're looking for a single oil. I use a couple blends. One is called Thinker, and that's actually one of them that is created in the children's line. So you can also use them on your kids and your babies as well. But again, highly diluted. So think the
Yes.
smaller the child, the smaller amount of oil you want to use, the more dilution. And then same goes for, you know, the older you are too. If you're getting a little bit more feeble and weak and everything, then again, you're always rule of thumb to start, it really starts small, just 1 to 2 drops, dilute it up nice and good. But you can roll a little bit up and down the spine. And so just, yeah, all that kind of protection, the stress, in the bath, it's nice to add a couple drops of essential oil to take a bath, especially with some Epsom salt, maybe just a little bit of baking soda in there, and just a nice detox. Like I mentioned, in my hair, not having the best hair day today, so you can't really tell how good they work on them, but they are really nice in the hair. And I actually have a diffuser in my car, and I like to diffuse when I'm traveling sometimes, especially if I'm going to be in traffic. The worst of my personality comes out when I'm driving. So I have my nice calming essential oils in the car with me. So you name it, and there's an oil for it. You give me any issue, and I can tell you some type of oil to try for it. And
Nice.
like I said, some of them you'll notice an immediate right away, like, oh my gosh, I can all of a sudden, like, my nose isn't stuffed up anymore. Some of them work behind the scenes. And so you might be tempted to think, oh, it's not working. This isn't doing what you said. But you don't really know that, because again, like, I could have said that with the bergamot, because my stress didn't go away. I still had issues I had to deal with. I still had my own mindset, that the way I was looking at them, but my body was handling the stress in a different way. So the stress was minimizing. I just would not have known it if I didn't see the blood sample of it. So sometimes we have to trust that they're doing what we were told they're going to do behind the scenes, that we might not feel or notice right away.
Yeah, or also to give it a try a few times too. It's not something
Yes.
that, especially if you have something major, or like you're going through, you can't sleep every night and you're trying one time, lavender. it's not going to make you sleep right away. It might take a couple times before you actually start feeling like, oh, okay, I'm sleeping better. So it's just be patient, I guess, with the essential oils.
Yeah, if you buy a bottle, use the whole bottle and then determine,
Mm,
otherwise you're wasting your money. So if you bought it, use it. And then if you don't feel like it did what you wanted it to, then you don't have to buy it again. And you can maybe try something different. Vetiver really
yeah.
helps me sleep. That's a very grounding oil. Lots of times it causes crazy dreams though. So yeah,
Wow.
but that's
Yeah.
that's one that I'll use. Peppermint is also very good for cooling the body.
Mhm.
So when you get to be a female of a certain age
Oh,
and your
wow.
body likes to heat up on you unexpectedly, you can put a few drops of peppermint in with a little bottle of water and spritz it on the back of your neck, and your body will cool down. Or if you're fighting something and your body is, the temperature is raising, again, you can massage some of that peppermint into the bottom of your feet and up and down the spine, and it will help cool the body down as well. And they're amazing when you use them in a massage. There's a whole technique that you can do where you can apply oils and massage them through the body. And yeah, there's just so many benefits.
That's so great. Like all these things that you could do with essential oils. And I mean, I think we talk about a lot of them. In for anyone that has not tried them yet, it's a great opportunity. If you're curious about what essential oils can do for you, definitely go out there, do your research, see what good product you can find. And I mean, this has been amazing, this conversation, Elle. For anyone that wants to find those oils that you buy, where can they find them?
So I use doTERRA oils.
Okay.
Those are the ones that I've been referring to. So you can go to mydoterra.com/Shelley Burkhart, SHELLEY BURKHART. That's my account. If you want, prior to that, you're welcome to reach out to me directly and talk more about what you might want to start with, what you have going on. I can make a couple suggestions for you so you know comfortably how to begin with everything. I'd be happy to walk you through that. I have some posts about oils and how I use them on my blog, which is ellhart.biz. It's ELLEHART.biz. And there's some posts on there on how I use the oils as well.
Nice, nice. And before we go, is there anything else that you would like to share with us?
I would just like to share that we do not have to be victims to our body and things that are going on with it. And like I said before, this was a road to empowerment for me. I spent so much of my life feeling powerless, either willingly or by coercion, or just because I felt like I didn't have that control over what was going on with me. And then I would get frustrated and swing and try to be powerful, and then I'd get loud and cause issues and try to control everything else around me. And it wasn't until I realized that the control lays within ourselves, and empowerment comes from within and what we do for ourselves. And essential oils is such an empowering way to feel like we have control over our body physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. They're just amazing.
Yeah, I love you. I love that very much. Thank you. Thank you for all the information. And if anyone wants to get in touch with you, where can they find you?
Yeah, you can reach out to me at feelempoweredeveryday.com. That's my website. And from there, you can connect with me. I'm also on Instagram, pretty much any social media, YouTube, Feel Empowered Every Day. I'll show up.
Nice, nice. And also, we'll put all your information on the show notes. So if any of you want to check out the company that she buys the essential oils, if you want to check that, I'll put all that information. I'll put all your social media and your website so you guys can get in contact with Elle. And remember, if you want to get in contact with me, you can find me at alexvalgood.com. You can find me on social media, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, pretty much everywhere. Remember, my book is out and you can buy it on Barnes and Nobles and Amazon. It's called Parents Are Greatest Teachers. Thank you, everyone, for being here today. Thank you, Elle, for all the information shared today. And everybody, please have a blessed day. Thank you.
Thank you.